Bonjour, I'm Chef Gail Sokol and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're making French Madeleines. And those are these sponge cakes that are in the shape of little shells. And there's so many different molds that you can get and they're so easy to make, you're not gonna believe it. So this is one of the big shell pans that I have that we're gonna use today, and it has about a dozen molds here, so you'd be making a dozen little sponge cakes. And they are little cookies. And then there's some that are even smaller and some that are shaped even differently. And there's different things that you can make with them. So if you don't want to make Madeleine, you can even do little corn muffins in them. I mean, it's crazy, but you can do anything, little muffins, anything you want. Now the first thing I'm going to do is preheat my oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit. Done it, it's done. You've got to have a hot oven ready to go. And the next thing, the hardest thing about these Madeleines, getting them out of the pan. So a lot of Madeleine pan, believe it or not, I bought this when I was a teenager after watching Julia Child. So when she made them on TV, I had to have one of these pans. So I mail ordered it, and you can get them probably in any kitchen supply store and even online. But they do come in non-stick now as well, and they didn't when I was younger. Boo-hoo. But I've made do. So I have a pastry brush, I have a tablespoon of butter, and this is unsalted butter, and it's softened. So I'm just gonna push a little bit into the mold, and you're gonna spread it around. And I do this with a brush. I usually do this with a paper towel or even my fingers, but do this with a brush because you want to get in every nook and cranny. This is a shell, and the shell molds are very they have a lot of nooks and crannies. So you want to make sure that you're actually getting this completely coated. About a tablespoon should do you for a dozen. So you're going to be using this twice because one recipe, the recipe I'm going to give you, is going to make a dozen at a time, and the total recipe makes 2 dozen. Now, these are not just any Madeleine. These are lemon thyme Madeleine. So we're going to have fresh, finely chopped thyme leaves in the batter, and then we're going to make a syrup, beautiful lemon thyme syrup. And we're going to, notice I'm getting in every little nook and cranny, and this does take some time, so give yourself some time to do it. If you see any reflections and you see the bottom without being covered with butter, quickly cover it with butter. And then we're going to flour it. And they come out beautifully when you do this. And I don't use a non-stick cooking spray with this because I find that the flour sort of gets absorbs it, and it just doesn't coat as well. So I'm going to get all my nooks and crannies done. All right, I think we're good. All right, how's that look to you? Pretty good, right? And now I'm going to take some flour. This is just all-purpose flour, and I'm just putting about maybe a heaping tablespoon in all around. And then I'm going to go to my sink, and I'm going to make sure that each shell is coated. All right, it's going to make a little bit of noise. Bounce it around a little bit, and then dump it out. Bang, you're done. That's it. See how nice each one is coated, and then I'm going to put it on a sheet pan because I don't want to touch these when they come out of the oven. All right, we'll use that one another time. So, in an electric mixer, such an easy batter. I think it's easier to make the batter than it is to prepare the pan. I have 2/3 cup of granulated sugar in my electric mixing bowl. I'm going to take 2 large eggs, the whole egg, put it in there, paddle attachment, come on over and see how it looks. And we're just going to mix it until the eggs sort of turn a little yellow. All right. So all you're going to do, going to go a little bit of a lemony color and then get a little bit paler. Super easy batter to do. Crazy easy. And if you look at some other recipes, they seem to be a little more complicated. Super easy. Next, I have about a teaspoon of fresh lemon zest, and I also have a stick of butter, but it's very soft. Just as soft as the butter that I used to coat the pan. And you're gonna get that in there. And you're not creaming anything like we do for cakes. We're not separating eggs. This is a super easy thing to do. In the meantime, I have 1 cup of all-purpose flour, and I'm putting in 1/4 of a teaspoon of baking powder. That's it. Whisk it up. That's it for the dry ingredients. So simple. Now I'm going to take 2 teaspoons of finely chopped fresh thyme leaves. Put them in there. Whisk those in as well. You can see that beautiful color, little tiny bits of green in there. Now look at our batter, looks good. All right, so on low speed, I'm going to add this beautiful flour and baking powder and thyme mixture. Just let it get in there, and that's your batter. That's it, folks. That's it. Make sure you get it in the bowl, not on the floor. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Chef Gail's a messy baker. All right, so you're gonna get that in there. Just get it all blended. That's it, you're done. Don't overmix, all right? See how it gets to it's not a dough, it's actually a batter, and it's not really super thin, but it's a nice batter. It's buttery, and it's full of thyme and lemon. Oh, it smells so good. All right, so you're gonna clean this off, and you're gonna go over to your molds, all right? And let's fill our pan. Again, you're using an electric mixer. Get underneath that little blip that comes up. Reminds me of a belly button that's like an Audi. You know, it sort of sticks up, so you want to make sure all the dry ingredients get combined. And it has. And this is enough, like I said, for 2 dozen of these beautiful Madeleines. So let's bring our beautiful tray over. And I do have a small ice cream scoop that I'm going to use. This is about a tablespoon. And I'm just going to scoop about a tablespoon in each one. And you don't have to spread them. Don't spread them. They will spread on their own. It's really very impressive to watch it. If you have a window in your oven, just let them spread on their own. You see the little flecks of thyme and lemon. So good. So yummy and so spongy. And when they only take 15 minutes to bake. When this batch comes out, you'll take them out, you'll let them cool for like a minute, and then I usually wipe out the pan so that it's clean, and then, yeah, you gotta butter with that 2nd tablespoon and flour. Like I said, isn't that more complicated than actually making the batter, right? But so worth it, so worth it. All right, in the oven, 15 minutes, 375. So in the meantime, we're going to have this beautiful, simple syrup that we're going to make. So I'd like you to come on over to the stove. In here, I have 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar. I'm going to put in 2 tablespoons of fresh lemon juice. We're going to have 2 tablespoons of water, which I'm going to measure out right now. A simple syrup is usually equal parts of water and sugar. Just going to stir it. And then I also have a teaspoon of lemon zest and 2 teaspoons. You can do 1 to 2 teaspoons, whatever you feel like, of your fresh thyme leaves, really finely chopped. Get them right in there. And then my secret ingredient is lemon vodka. Got to have lemon vodka. Oh, it smells so good. So good. 2 tablespoons. If you don't want to use lemon vodka, you can use more water or more lemon juice. And that's it. And then you're just going to come take a look at it. You get a spoon. You're going to bring that. You're going to bring it to a boil. And that's your syrup. So when they come out, you just want that sugar to dissolve. You're not caramelizing anything. You're not cooking anything. So don't cook it. Don't caramelize this. This is a simple syrup. Now, while this comes to a boil, and it's almost there actually, because you can see the water beginning to evaporate. It's almost reaching the boiling point. I want to tell you, this keeps beautifully in the fridge because once you brush your Madeleine, if you're not going to serve them right away, you can wait to brush them till right before serving. That's it. It's coming to a boil and we're done. So come on over here. You can see how pretty. And it smells so fragrant of the thyme, the lemon, and the vodka. All right, so come on over. And I'm going to show you what I do with them. I have some made. And this is how they come out of the oven. Like little shells right off the beach of France. So nice. And then I'm going to take my brush, and this is my serving plate. And I'm just going to take my syrup. You can keep it hot. I like to, cool it down a little bit, but this is fine. And you're just going to brush it over. Just brush it over each one. Traditionally, you can just take some confectioner's sugar and put it over your Madeleine. But this is so much nicer. And you see the thyme, there's more thyme, so you got like double thyme. Get it? Double thyme? I like that. And you got your lemon. And you have your vodka. Now, I want to tell you a little something special that I like to do with my simple thyme lemon vodka syrup. So what I'd like to do with it, and I usually brush both sides. I'm just going to flip them. This is how they come right off the pan. All right, I'm going to flip them over. Whoop. Just flip them over. And give them another brush. All right, I'll just do a few for you. What I like to do, store the syrup in the fridge in a pitcher and use it to make a fabulous drink. Just get a little more vodka and some tonic or some ginger ale, some nice ice. Oh, what a lovely drink this is. So I'm just going to put these down. And see how pretty they look. Look at these beautiful Madeleines. And this would be a nice little simple dessert with some ice cream or sorbet or a fruit dessert. Anything you want. Some grilled peaches, anything you want, but they are delicious. I'm going to try one. Oh my gosh. Immediately, the sponginess, lemon, thyme, not so much too much vodka, but a little bit. So good. You've got to try these. Get yourself a Madeleine pen. Make these. Become a subscriber. Till next time.